Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma sambuddhassa. Good evening, everyone. Today we are commencing our Dhammavinicchaya program, which we have been doing for the last few months. And so far we have discussed 10 topics based on the Dhammavinicchaya book written by the late Venerable Rerukane Chanduivana Mahathera. So today I am going to discuss a very important, at the same time insightful topic on some of the fundamentals that we have discussed so far regarding the threefold chaitiyas. Threefold chaitiyas, which are the relics of the Buddha, and then the Bodhi tree which he used, which he sat before on his enlightenment, and also the statues that are made as replicas of the Buddha, representing the Buddha. So which we call Saririka, Paribhogika and Uddesika chaitiyas. There is a hierarchy of these chaitiyas. We discussed, if I remind what we have discussed so far, has the Buddha allowed or recommended paying respect to the chaitiyas? Did this custom began while the Buddha was alive, or was this something that started after some time? So we were having discussing on these issues, and also some very important topic was raised. Why did Venerable Ananda choose to establish a Bodhi tree instead of praising some other requisites the Buddha had been using regularly? And Mahathera's idea was that because a Bodhi tree can endure lots of hardships, weather hardships, and also a lot of adversities the people could cause upon it, and also a Bodhi tree can last long, it lives long, and it has been proven that because the Ananda Bodhi tree is still existing in the Jetavana Vihara. So the point is, in the handouts, if you were aware or if you can recall, we discussed that there was a question raised by Venerable Rerukane Chanduivana Mahathera on the amount or the degree of merits accumulated by a person while respecting these three different chaitiyas. That's a very important topic, which is a sensitive topic, but it can give lots of insights to all the ones who are following. Because in terms of the object, for example, whom do we represent by paying respect to one of the chaitiyas is the Buddha himself. So Rerukane Chanduivana Mahathera has said there is no difference between the merits accumulated when we pay respect to each chaitya. So if I use the board, for instance, Saririka dhatu or chaitya are the relics of the Buddha. Relics are the parts of his body. Normally, we refer to the bones that were left over, pieces of bones that were left over while the Buddha's body was being burnt. Then sometimes we can also have hair relics. In some gathas, we utter kesa loma as well. The body hair was also left away. But anyway, we don't find such information. But there are some people who claim that Buddha's blood was left over. So I'm not sure about that. But normally what we are told in the literature is that bone pieces were left, small ones. So there were 8 nalis, quite significant amount. And one of the nalis were enshrined in the Chaitya Mahachaitya, and then the teeth remained, out of which the four canine teeth are very significant, and the remaining teeth were taken away by the deities who visited this Chakkavala, who visited this world cycle from outer world cycles. So anyway, so we have relics, parts of the Buddha's body that were left over after his body was cremated. Then we have paribhogika chetya. So most significant one being the Bodhi tree, the great Bodhi tree under which he got enlightened, and also the Bodhi trees that belong to the lineage of that great Bodhi tree. Then whatever the requisite that he used, such as the patta bowl, robes do not last for such long period. There is a stupa in which his bathing cloth was enshrined. I'm not sure whether it's still existing or not. The chair he sat was enshrined in the Kalaniya stupa according to the chronicles, and many other things. Any requisite that he used can be said to be paribhogika chetya. Then we have uddesika chetyas. Uddesika chetya does not contain either relics or anything that the Buddha used. It's just a sign or just a representation of the Buddha, the most common being the Buddha statues. On ancient days, sometimes the wheel of the Dhamma chakra was used. Sometimes the sign of the Buddha's footprint was used to resemble the Buddha. And the most important characteristic of Uddesika Chetya is it doesn't contain any relics. If relics were enshrined in a Buddha statue, then it becomes a saririka thing. It becomes a saririka sadhatuka patima, which we call. So it is a saririka object. That's what happens to the chetiyas, the pagodas we see in countries like Sri Lanka. The relics are enshrined there, so they have to be considered as a saririka chetya. Sometimes there can be a stupa without the relics, as it happened in the story of Pulina Tupatheriya Padhana, which we discussed a few months back. A hermit once built a stupa with sand, and he started respecting it as the Buddha. So the most important characteristic of Uddesika Chetya is they do not carry or they do not contain any of the relics or any object that the Buddha has used. So these are the three. So when we are paying respect to any of these three, I hope some were able to pay respect to the great tooth relic in Kandy, if you are in Sri Lanka. And I personally got that great opportunity to have a nice look, have a closer look at it. Yeah, it was a very significant moment in my life. So anyway, so paying respect to any of these relics, in the end, we are referring to the Buddha. That's the point. We are referring to the Buddha through them. So there is a common belief thinking that paying respect to any of them would accumulate the same amount of merit because we are paying respect to the same Buddha. So if you are paying respect to the same Buddha, so yeah, the merit can differ based on the mental state in which the worshipper is in. Yeah, in which the worshipper is, but the contribution from the object has to remain the same because it's the Buddha. So the point here is, are they completely equal or is there a difference in it? There's a very famous gatha in our tradition saying that the merits accumulated by a person offering something to the living Buddha and offering something to a already passed away Buddha who had attained parinibbana, if you can maintain the same sort of mindset, you will be able to gain same merits regardless of the presence of the Buddha. Same chitte, we say tittante nibbute chapi same chitte samang palang. Cheto panidhi hetuhi satta gacchanti sugati. So if you can maintain the same mindset, if someone can believe or someone can have the same mindset as he has met the Buddha and offer something to the Chetya, Mahachetya or to the Buddha statue which is in your house, at your house. So normally we believe you get the same amount of merit. That verse was not uttered by the Buddha, that was an verse uttered by the Sakka, the god of the deities. So this is the normal fun, and we even ourselves have preached this in Dhamma talks. So why I brought this topic today is because now in the last months, the last semester, we talked various topics related to the, starting from January, we talked various topics related to the 3 types of Chetyas. And we finished the 10 topics, and now next month we are moving into a new arena of topics. So before moving into that, I take this class to analyze on this amount of merit one is accumulating by paying respect to each of these Chetyas. Are they 100% equal or are they different? It's a very important topic, can be something sensitive to some, but something worth paying attention. Because then we can see if there is a difference, importance of paying respect to specific objects and so forth. Okay, now the general idea is, the belief is, since we are referring to the Buddha through these relics, through these Chetyas, the amount of merit should be the same. And many stories have mentioned, now some monks, in ancient days, monks visiting the Bodhi tree, they take the sense as the presence of the Buddha. They go to the Bodhi tree as if they are visiting the living Buddha. They pay respect to the Bodhi tree as they are paying respect to the living Buddha. So that is the normal mindset that monks should develop in paying respect to any of the Chetyas. That's the same mindset that we have towards our Buddha statue. The same mindset we have towards the relics. We consider them as the Buddha. So in the end, regardless of the object, regardless of this Chetya, we are referring to it as the Buddha. We are referring to it as the Buddha. So, for example, now if I just draw, now if this is the Buddha, for instance, now this I prefer not to represent him, but for example, for instance, just to indicate, if this is the Buddha, in all these 3 cases, this represents the Buddha, right? But what is in there? Now we are paying respect to the Buddha through a saririka object, through a relic of the Buddha. Here we are paying respect to the Buddha through a paribhogika object which he used. Here it's just some material. It doesn't need to be a specific thing. It can be something made out of wood, it can be something made out of stone, or it can be something made out of clay, or whatever it is. Maybe out of plastic or whatever. Maybe a paper, doesn't matter. So, but we are respecting the Buddha. We are representing the Buddha. So, the belief is, since we are paying respect to the Buddha and associating these objects, we must keep a mindset that we are associating a Buddha himself, the Buddha himself. That's the normal procedure, that's the normal tradition. That's how when we visit to a Bodhi tree, we feel it as the Buddha, we consider it as the Buddha. Now the point is whether this consideration is fully accurate. I'm not saying it's wrong, it's perfectly okay. Even myself have that attitude when you are visiting a Bodhi tree or a relic or a Buddha statue, we consider it as the Buddha. But isn't there any difference between them? Are they 100% equal? Are we getting the same merit while paying respect to each of these stupas, each of these Chetyas? That is the point at discussion. That's the point at discussion. So now, in order to now, the general belief is we are getting the same merit. That's what the Rerukane Chandevela Mahathera has said. Now I am going to analyze this. I am going to deviate a bit from the general opinion, and at the end of the lecture you will have more insights about what I am trying to tell you. Now, are we getting the same amount of merit? That's a very important thing. The common belief as given in the, based on the Gatha given in the Vimanavattu Pali, Same Chitte Samang Palang, Tittante Nibbute Chapi, Tittante Nibbute Chapi, Same Chitte Samang Palang. So we get the same amount of results when we maintain this similar mindset, regardless of the fact whether the Buddha was alive or he has attained Parinibbana. Regardless of this fact. So that is the normal understanding. That's what we normally preach as well. But is this like, are we going to say that even at a micro level, even at the entire level, the merit is same or not? This is the discussion at hand. Now, I'll take two examples, two approaches, two points, which would say something otherwise. Now, think about this merit, which we call the Abhinihara Kusala. Abhinihara Kusala. Abhinihara Kusala means this comes with regard to all three types of bodhis, Buddhahood, Pacceka Buddhahood and Arahanthood. Normally, very commonly, this is known regard to the Samma Sambuddhahood. Abhinihara Kusala is the meritorious deed that we do, after which, by doing which, someone become destined to be a Samma Sambuddha one day. I'll repeat it again. Abhinihara Kusala is the merit by which one becomes destined to be a Samma Sambuddha one day. And when the hermit Sumedha, the ascetic Sumedha made such a merit in front of the Dipankara Buddha, and he became destined to be the Buddha Gautama one day, after 4 Asankhya years and 100,000 years, based on the level he had at that moment. Before that, he had accumulated a lot of merit. There's no argument in that. He had started the journey. We don't have much information about it. There is a book called Saddhamma Ratanakaraya, in which our Bodhisattva's initial stages of Bodhisattvahood has been explained. But this is not something which is found in any of the commentaries or sub-commentaries. This is found in a book which was written at a later stage as maybe during the Kandian era or something similar to that. So this was a later. So we don't know exactly how this information was gathered by this author. But there is a slight hint on that when Yasodhara was about to pass away, attain Parinibbana. She said that we both, you and me, Buddha and him, met ancient Brahma Deva Buddha and a Buddha called Gautama, which are not in the list of 28 that we know. So they have come even from a time period even before that, before Dipankara Buddha. So exact way of practicing, Charyapitaka commentary says a bodhisattva would initiate his journey in any of the 4 ways, and then he has to develop a lot of meritorious deeds, then he has to develop the great compassion, the great effort, fearlessness towards the samsara, and also fearlessness towards the samsara means to face all the adversities that he has to face as a bodhisattva, and also to develop the wisdom. So then when someone accumulates one lifetime after another for a long period, at a certain stage when the 8 factors come together, when he does a special merit such as sacrificing the life to the Buddha, and it has to be a Buddha, when you're sacrificing a life to the Buddha with the intention of becoming a Buddha one day, Samma Sambuddha one day, when the 8 factors have gathered, yes, that merit becomes so strong, so powerful that the person who is doing it will be destined to be a Samma Sambuddha one day. That's the point here. That is called the Abhinihara Kusala. So the power of the Abhinihara Kusala makes it sure that the person who is doing it will be a Samma Sambuddha one day. That's the point here. So the greatness of this merit matters a lot. Matters a lot. So what are the 8 factors that are necessary? So I will list down them one by one. The person has to be a human, Manusatta, in order to be destined to be a Samma Sambuddha. After that, he is a special person actually. Then he has to be a male, because the Bodhisattva practice is not something easy to be done by a woman, a female. So it has to be a male. Then he has to have given up the household life and given up the sensuality and become a monk, Pabbajja, having become a monk, either as an ascetic who is believing in Kamma and Vipaka, or as a Buddhist monk. Then number 4, he has to have attained Abhiññāna. Abhiññāna means the direct knowledges by developing concentration. Just becoming a monk doesn't mean, becoming a monk, he has abandoned lots of sensual pleasures and he is living a celibacy life. But that doesn't mean that the thoughts, the sensual thoughts are not arising in the person. But if someone has attained a jhana, if someone has mastered the jhanas and attained the abhiññānas, that means he has given up the sensuality from his mind as well. Not eradicated, but he has suppressed it. So this shows that he is a human male who has ordained, who has given up the household life, who has fulfilled the nekkhamma, and who has attained higher stages in concentration, giving up the sensual thoughts. Then he must be a person who is suitable, who has the potency to become an arahant. Potency to become an arahant. The potency to become an arahant. He has the capacity to become an arahant on that spot, on that moment, having listened to a gatha of 4 lines. That much of potency. Now, in this life, this indicates his stages in this life. This shows who he has been from the past. He is a suitable person. Then he should be, now he is doing, now these things, now the coming two are regarding the merit that he is doing. This is his character, his potency that he carried from the past life. This is the present life status. So when we are attaining something, when we are attaining a higher stage, we should also, it's a very important thing, we should possess some potency from the past life, especially when we are attaining a noble stage. We should have a potency from the past life. At the same time, our current life status, the position we are in also matters. That's what the Mahadana Setti lacked. He had the potency, but he lacked the present life conditions. Some may have present life condition. They are monks who ordain and practice thoroughly. But if they have not had the potency from the past, if they have not done the merits in the past lives, they will not be able to attain in this very life. So both are very important. So these first 4 shows his current life status. Had he been a non-human or an animal, no, he is not suitable for this. So these are the present life, current life status that one can reach, the highest point one can reach apart from the Buddha Sasana. Then he has the potency to become an arahant in a shorter discourse, listening to a very short discourse, not a very long one or not having meditated like us. So he is a very smart person, intelligent being. Now what type of a merit that he is supposed to do? What type of a merit? Now these two are for this. Then the last one is, there is a goal, he is doing this merit with a goal, and that merit itself is not going to give that goal. What sort of a attitude that he should have? What type of an attitude? So he should have a strong desire, chanda, to become a Buddha one day. It's also related to that merit, I would say. It's also related to the merit. He's doing the merit with a strong desire to be a Buddha. So we can say all these three are related to the merit that he's doing. This is the potency that he brought from the past life. This is something related to the present life. And then he should do a great merit like sacrificing his life, or similar to that. Normally what we say is you have to sacrifice your life. So that is the greatest dana that you can do. This kusala is cannot be accumulated through sila, through nekkhamma. No. This is something that we have to do towards someone. So when you are talking about the meritorious deeds, the most significant is the dana, the donations, donating something to someone. That's what the Bodhisattva has been doing most of the time. Sila, Panya and all these are, we can say they are related to something very personal. But dana is you are sacrificing something to someone else, which is a very high quality in someone. So it has to be a dhanamaya kusala. It cannot be any sila. Someone can practice sila for 100 years and wish, may I be a Buddha one day. That's not adequate enough to become abhinihara kusala. It has to be a dana. And that dana has to be the utmost dana. What is the utmost dana? Sacrificing your life. Or doing a dana through your life. What the Sumedha did, he offered his entire body and entire life to the Buddha and to the Sangha. The Sangha led by the Buddha and the Sangha as a bridge. May the Buddha and the Sangha walk upon my body, so may they not smear any mud on their feet. So that was a sacrifice of his own entire life. So sacrificing the life, or offering the life, or doing a merit, sacrificing his life, like without caring about the life. And this has to be done. To whom this has to be done? It has to be done to the greatest person who can make the merit the highest. And it has to be done towards a living Buddha. It's a very important point. It has to be done towards a living Buddha. This is the point that I'm going to highlight. Some of you would be able to figure out where I'm going now. So now he has a desire to be a Buddha. If the Buddha had said, okay, in order to be a Samma Sambuddha, you have to swim from one end of the world to the other end if the entire world is filled with water, swimming, which is not an easy task, he would take the challenge saying, okay, I will do that. If the Buddha said, you will be a Samma Sambuddha after burning in the hell, or Avici Maha Naraka, for four Asankayas and 100,000 eons, he would still not hesitate for that. That much of desire, zeal is there. And he's doing this merit with such a desire. He's doing a merit. Merit is a means of attaining there, because if you want to achieve a certain task, there has to be some path for that. Doing the merits, accumulating merits, developing merits is a means. And he's starting this journey now with this great start, great merit, abhinihara kusala, and he has a desire that I will not give up, I will never give up. And with such a chanda, he's making a merit of sacrificing or offering his life to whom? To a living Buddha. Because there is no person other than the Buddha who can make this merit more meritorious. It's very obvious. If he had sacrificed his life to the Sangha, he would still get merit, but is lower than sacrificing to the Buddha. Because Buddha said in Dakkinavibhanga Sutta Sangha-gata, like offering to the Sangha, is higher than any individual offerings, and that refers to the Sangha led by the Buddha, not the individual Sangha, the Sangha alone. Yes, offering to the Sangha led by the Buddha is much meritorious than offering to the Buddha himself, because it includes the Sangha as well. But the Buddha's component is very important. The Buddha has to be there. So, now it is the highest person you can get to accumulate the greatest merit one can ever do. And he is offering the utmost thing one has, your own life. There is nothing precious than your own life, more precious than your own life, and with such a great desire. So now, when all these 8 factors come together, the person, this donation, this offering, adhikara is the donation, the chetana, the sacrifice. He's doing a adhikara, or we can say he's doing a sacrifice, and the chetana involved with that, whatever it is. I'm not sure about that, how to define that. So anyway, the chetana which is involved in these with these 8 factors makes him destined to be a Samma Sambuddha one day. Because that merit is so powerful, so as that the person who is doing that would be a Buddha one day, for sure. He will be destined for that. It's something similar to the Magga Chetana. When the Magga Chetana, the supramundane path Chetana, the volition has arisen, it is certain to give a result in the immediate moment. The same thing happens with if someone has done any of the heinous deeds, killing matricide and patricide and so forth, he will be sure to be born in the hell in the next life. No one can prevent that. The same way, if someone has done this abhinihara kusala, he will be a Buddha one day, not as a vipaka of that, but that journey would be unstoppable. Even he himself would not deviate away from that. Because the reason is he has accumulated, such a long journey up to this moment, that he would not stop back. He would not retreat back. That's the point here. So now the point is the living Buddha. Now we'll go back to the previous discussion. There's no difference in the results. There's no difference in the results. If you have the same mindset, if you are paying, when you have the same mindset, if you are doing something, if you are offering something to even to the living Buddha or the Buddha who had attained Parinibbana, the result would be the same. So now the commentators are very clear on this. They are saying, if all the other 7 factors are present, except number 3, a human male who has ordained and attained the abhiññānas, who has the potency to become an arahant in that very life, having listened to a gatha of 4 lines, doing a sacrifice offering his life with a great zeal to become a Buddha one day, to a relic, or maybe to the Mahacheti, or where all the relics of the Buddha has gathered, or even to a body that the Buddha has sent, having created a psychic image, or whatever it is. Even the person is having all the 7 factors. If this was the relics, and if he had the same mindset, same chitte samam palang, if you are able to maintain the same mindset, what would be the result? If you believe that the Buddha's presence and the absence doesn't make any difference to the karma, if we take the fundamental as the presence and the absence has no whatsoever effect, as long as we are referring to the Buddha, because even though he has passed away, we are referring to that same Buddha who existed. So his presence and absence doesn't make any difference. Sacrificing or offering your life, or Bodhisattva offering his life to relics and wishing to be a Buddha with all the 7 factors fulfilled, would suffice, should suffice as an abhinihara kusala. But it doesn't. That's the point. It doesn't. The commentators are very clear. The Theravada tradition is very clear. Even all the 7 factors are complete. If he's paying this respect or the offering to a relic, not to the real Buddha, his abhinihara kusala is not going to make him a Buddha one day. It will be a supporting factor for sure, but it's not going to fix him. He's not going to be certain because of that. Why is that? The living Buddha was missing. So what does it mean? The living Buddha, the Buddha's presence makes the karma different. It means you are paying respect to the Mahacheti, thinking it as the Buddha, as we do here. But if you are paying respect to the real Buddha, for instance, if this is the real Buddha, for example, if this is the real Buddha, the merit is different. That's what that previous fundamental is suggesting. It's not what I'm saying. It's very clearly suggesting. It has to be a real Buddha. Then you can have another opinion on that. The commentators have said, why there should be a living Buddha? Because only then he can give a prophecy. The obvious question which someone can ask is, now he did the merit and the Buddha makes the prophecy. When did the person become fixed to be a Buddha? Is it only as soon as he has done the merit, or when the Buddha has uttered the prophecy? There was a small time gap between these two. He did the merit. Buddha is not going to say it at the same time. He observes it. He sees what is happening in the future. He sees whether the person is capable of reaching there, and he says he is sure he will be a Buddha one day, and then he utters. There was some time gap. So had he already become a bodhisattva or a certain person by then? Yes. When he did the merit, kusala, and the prophecy. Okay, I forgot the spellings actually, or prophecy, whatever. So he became destined at this moment, not at this moment. Buddhas give the prophecy seeing a person who is destined to be a Buddha. So he become destined only after doing the merit, not by the prophecy. That's very clear. One can still argue, no, he became destined, but the prophecy is needed in order to get the boost and so forth. Hypothetically imagine, if the prophecy was not given, could he still be a Buddha? Seems he can. Because Buddhas give a prophecy knowing that he will be a Buddha one day. It's not that because he will be a Buddha one day because of the prophecy. Prophecy is given because he will be a Buddha one day. And how he became destined to be a Buddha, there's no way that he will not be a Buddha because of this abhinihara kusala, which was backed up by great paramis and also which had all the 8 factors. So therefore, as the commentary says, Buddha is necessary to give the prophecy, but he is necessary. It's not only because of the prophecy, it's because the merit has to come to that level. This merit will never come to that level doing towards the saririka, chetya and so forth. Someone can still argue that still one can be destined by paying respect or offering life to a saririka chetya or a mahastupa. Even the Buddha is not alive, but it doesn't happen. But what the commentaries is saying, the samijjati or something, it will not happen, it will not come into completion. In order for the abhinihara kusala to come into completion, 8 factors are necessary. Living Buddha is a must. Then one can argue like this, no, when we are paying respect or sacrificing the life, a bodhisattva is sacrificing his life towards a relic or the mahacheti, he will never have that same mindset. But the Gatha says you can maintain, if you are able to maintain the same mindset, yes, it is possible. Then someone would argue, no, it's not possible. You can never have that same mindset. When you are seeing the Buddha, the mind would be different. Okay, imagine this hypothetical scenario. while a person have completed all the 7 factors except the living Buddha, Buddha was somewhere far away, and a Buddha creates an image, a Buddha Rupa, Nimitta Buddha Rupa. That means he creates a similar figure of himself through his psychic powers, with his psychic powers. He creates an image with his psychic powers and sets it like he does in Yamaka Patiharya, the twin miracle scene. He creates a Buddha statue, Buddha image similar to him. No one knows it because sometimes it is mentioned while he was giving this Abhidhamma talk in Tavatinsa. Some deities knew that this, because he sometimes came to the human realm to have his meals and creating a Buddha image to preach the Dhamma, and some deities knew that and some deities didn't know. So it shows that sometimes we'll never be able to figure out whether it's a living Buddha or a image he created. Now imagine a Bodhisattva is there or with all the 7 factors, and he sees a created Buddha coming in front of him, and he has no clue whether he's the living Buddha or not. Thinking that he is the living Buddha, he does the sacrifice and wishes for the Buddhahood. Would his abhinihara be accomplished? Seems not, because it's not a living Buddha. So what does this suggest? What it suggests is the presence of the Buddha has some effect on the merit. Has some effect on the merit. That's very important, very vital. The second argument for this, the second argument is, there is a merit called which can give results in this very life. There has to be 4 factors for that. If someone is offering something, a donation, righteously obtained, donation righteously obtained, with the belief in karma vipaka, okay, I'll write in short forms, to Arahant, who had just emerged from the Nirodha Samapatti. If these 4 factors are there, it is said that, or maybe this was about the happiness. I hope this factor is okay. So if these 4 factors are there, that merit is supposed to give results in this very life. Significant results, notable results. That's what is mentioned in the books. Now imagine, we have a donation or something that is obtained righteously, and we believe in karma vipaka, and we have a very wholesome, happy mind state, and we have a Arahant statue or a Buddha statue, because Buddha is also an Arahant, a Buddha statue or statue enshrined with relics. And we imagine a moment where the Buddha has just emerged from the Nirodha Samapatti. That's why our Mahatheras, when they are paying respect or offering flowers to the Buddha, we contemplate as Nirodha Samapattito Vuttahitva Vya. So we imagine the moment the Buddha has emerged from the Nirodha Samapatti. Why do we do that? Because the merit becomes more powerful when you are offering to a Buddha or Arahant who has just emerged from the Nirodha Samapatti. It's a fundamental in the teachings. Now we are imagining, because we are referring to a moment, we are exactly referring to some moment, he emerged from the Nirodha Samapatti and offered to this relic, referring to that moment. Are we going to get notable results in this very life because of this? Then we must be seeing all these effects in our lives. It seems not. It seems not. So what does it mean? What is the missing factor? So this Arahant, he is an Arahant, but he has not just emerged in reality. He has already passed away. Buddha has already attained Parinibbana. He has not just emerged, but on those occasions while he was alive, sometimes Mahakassapa had just, Sariputta had just emerged from the Nirodha Samapatti, and he was going, and Punna, the poor man, met him, and he offered, and he got the results. And his presence was there. So his presence does matter. Otherwise, just imagining the moment that all these Arahants who have emerged from the Nirodha Samapatti will be able to do these merits and get the results. So none of us are going to say that imagining the Buddha has emerged from a Nirodha Samapatti, when we are offering these merits, we are going to get results in this very way. And none of us are going to say the fourth factor is complete. This also suggests that the presence of the person matters, even though we are referring to the same person. So this shows that offering to a living Buddha is of great merit than offering to a relic. Then the obvious question that comes is how to define this sentence. Same chittang samang pame chitte samam palang. If you have the same mindset, we are going to get the same results. A similar explanation can be given based on the Dakkhina Vibhanga commentary. It says offering to the Sangha. Forget about the Buddha, offering to the Sangha. Someone is offering to the Sangha while the Buddha was present, while the Arahants were there. And someone is offering Sangha at the moment, these days. And someone will offer Sangha when the Sangha's Sila has completely dropped down to the Kasava Kantakas who has no Sila but who are representing the Sangha. In all these three occasions, Sanghika Dana is accumulated. There is no doubt in it. But the commentary clearly says, the Sanghika Dana given today is different from the Sanghika Dana given while the Arahants were alive, while the great disciples were alive. It's different. We cannot compare these two. The Sanghika Dana given after 2,500 years, when the Sangha has completely declined to a very unimaginably worse virtuous state, still the Sanghika Dana is done, but that should not be compared with the Sanghika Dana that we are giving today. Now, what I'm saying is this, what the commentary is saying is this. Today we are offering to 100,000 monks, for instance, 100,000 monks as a Sanghika Dana. Because, for example, we didn't count the monks, we said this is Sanghika Dana, and 100,000 monks came. And we offered it. It's a great Sanghika Dana. And tomorrow also we are asking, Mahasangha comes. We don't need a number. How much comes? We are going to offer. And next day, fortunately for you, all these 100,000, hypothetically I'm saying, all these 100,000 would become Arahants and come and accept your Sanghika Dana. Yesterday, they were Putujjanas. All were Putujjanas. Today, the same 100,000 are Arahants. And it's a Sanghika Dana. What the commentary is saying, the Sanghika Dana given on the following day is of great merits than what was given yesterday. But both are in the Sanghika category. Both are in the Sanghika category. So within the category, there is a difference. Seems like a great difference. I'm not going to comment on that. I'm not going to say how much difference is there, which is a very bold move if I do. I'm not stepping into that dangerous zone. But what I can say is it is within the Sanghika category, but there's a difference. The commentary has said this very clearly. Don't compare the Sanghika Dana given while the great disciples were alive with the Sanghika Dana that was given while the commentaries were written. At that time, the Sangha had a much better standard, I assume, and I'm pretty much sure about that. And it should not be compared with the Sangika Dana given today, obviously not. If the Sangha Sasana increases, we are always saying the negative stuff is declining. There can be an increase. There have been such eras in the Sasana. Sasana is not always declining. That's why we put effort and bring up the Sasana. Obviously, it happened in Sri Lanka. There was a time there was no monks at all. Now we have a lot of monks. So it's a better position that we are enjoying at the moment than at what it happened in the Kandyan era. While during the, it's not a fault of the era or the place, but that's how it gradually ended up. So there can be ups and downs. So thing is, it's in the Sangika category, but there's a difference. So in the same way, when we are paying respect to the Buddha, living Buddha, or the passed away Buddha through a Saririka, through the relics, through the Paribhogika Chetiyas, or through a Buddha statue, we are doing the Buddha Puja. It's within the category of Buddha Puja. But there's a difference. If you are offering to the real Buddha, the living Buddha, and if you are offering to the Saririka Dhatu, there is a difference. Even within the Buddha Puja category, there's a difference. So, as I assume, this is a very personal opinion on this. It says that Same Chittang Sampalan, they have the same results in terms of the category. It's still a Buddha Puja. But the amount of merit, amount of pleasures, amount of results would surely be different. So this was given when a lady was going to offer, or she has offered something to the pagoda, and the Sakka said, even the Buddha had passed away, you are still getting the same results. Yes, she had done a Buddha Puja. But had he done this to the living Buddha, had she got some much flesh luxuries? Seems yes. How do we prove this? Because of these two. Abhinihara Kusala can never be achieved regardless of the mind state of the Bodhisattva, regardless of the intellect of the Bodhisattva, regardless how skillful the Bodhisattva is, if the living Buddha is not there, if there is no living Buddha. The same way, you cannot accumulate the merits of offering to an Arahant who had just emerged from the Nirodha Samapatti, even the person has assumed or imagined such a thing, and offering to relics of an Arahant or relic of the Buddha. So this suggests that there is a slight difference in what is being offered. So I'm going to referring to this, like I'm taking this discussion further away. So according to this explanation, seems like there is a hierarchy of merits. In Vinaya, we have a hierarchy of respect towards the statues, towards the Chaitya. Sorry, I beg your pardon. For example, if a pagoda is there enshrined with relics, relics are there enshrined in a pagoda, and there's a Bodhi tree. Imagine it was the great Bodhi tree under which the Buddha had attained. Unfortunately, it died. One of the Asoka's queens, as the chronicles say, destroyed it. That's how it is being taught. Now imagine if that Bodhi tree was there and somehow we built a pagoda enshrining Buddha's real relics. Okay, Buddha relics are here. The Bodhi tree is here, the great Bodhi tree. Okay, it's not something, a sapling or anything. And if this Bodhi tree is disturbing the Buddha's relic pagoda, for example, if one branch is disturbing this, we have to cut the branch and save the pagoda. Why is that? Relics are in a higher position than the Bodhi tree, than the Paribhogika stuff. If a Bodhi tree is disturbing a Buddha statue which has no relics in it, we are not supposed to cut the Bodhi tree. We cannot cut the Bodhi tree. If the Buddha statue contains the Saririka Dhatus, then we have to cut the Bodhi tree and save the relic, statue with relics. So there is a hierarchy of respect Hierarchy of respect. Normally we feel, even though there's a hierarchy of respect, the merits should be the same. No, it's different. It seems it's different. So this shows that if now, what does this open up? If someone is paying respect to a Buddha statue at home, and someone goes to Anuradhapura and pays respect to Mahacheti, which contains this amount of relics, the merit is different. The merit is different. Can't we pay respect from far away? I'm bringing this information now. I'm also going back to the same argument. Can a Bodhisattva, while the Buddha is in Savatthi, can a Bodhisattva living in Rajagaha do the Abhinihara? Can he pay respect to that direction and sacrifice his life? And would the Abhinihara be suffice? And Buddha, knowing through the divine eye, would he give the prophecy from Savatthi while the Bodhisattva is in Rajagaha? Seems not. Seems not. So, for the Abhinihara Kusala, the Buddha, he has to meet the Buddha. The Buddha's presence is there. Now, I will not be able to explain what should be the distance or anything. Maybe it's something that he is seeing him, his presence, he's in his eyesight, he can hear his voice, whatever it is. But I can make sure, I can be more confident saying that if the Buddha was beyond the sight, if he was in a different city, if he was far away, even the Bodhisattva makes such a sacrifice towards the Buddha, towards that direction, completely dedicated to himself, for the Buddha himself, still the Abhinihara would not suffice. So it seems like he has Sattara Dassanam, he has to see the Buddha with his eyes. Not through today, like through Zoom or any live thing. Now, for example, if in a live, if the Buddha was live in a video, in a TV channel, could he still do the Abhinihara, staying at his home? Seems not. So it seems like paying respect to Mahacheti from far away, still you are getting merits, but it seems like it is different from the merit that you accumulate having gone there. I'm not talking about the sacrifice that you are making. Someone can say, okay, because I'm going there, so I'm making more merits. I'm not talking about the preliminary acts, what you are doing. I'm talking about the merit, the worshipping merit itself. Someone somehow, for whatever reason, went to Anuradhapura with a different intention, and suddenly he ended up in front of the Mahacheti, or while I was asleep, someone took me being not aware of that, I'm not accumulating, doing anything for that journey, and suddenly I wake up, I'm in front of the Mahacheti. And I just wake up from my bed and I'm paying respect to the Mahacheti. Are they same or different? Seems like they're different. So it shows that going to the presence of such relics and paying respect is a higher merit, is a higher thing. So this shows that visiting the tooth relic in Kandy, visiting the Mahacheti in the Anuradhapura, visiting the Mahabodhi in Anuradhapura, or visiting a great pagoda which is sure to be enshrined with relics, we can accumulate more and more merits. So this shows that I'm not discouraging the respect that is given to a normal statue. Still it's a Buddha puja, but paying respect to a Saririka dhatu is of higher grade, a higher merit. Seems like. So I feel, so based on that, it's my opinion, I'm suggesting, but I'm holding it as a view that the amount of merit differs based on the object itself. Based on the object itself. And this is a very important point. And it shows that how important it is to meet a Buddha. The next point. Otherwise, we may feel like, okay, Anathapindika gave the Jetavana Rama to the Buddha. So we are also building a much better, with higher technology, we are building a great palace or something or a monastery for the Buddha, for the sake of Buddha, and completely dedicated for the Buddha, and we are doing all the duties, I'm not discouraging it. It's a great merit. It's a Buddha puja. Are we getting more merits than Anathapindika by doing so? If we have spent more money than him? He could offer it to the living Buddha. And we are offering it to the Buddha who has passed away. Seems like he is getting much more merit because he is encountering with the Buddha who is actually who was there. So this shows that how important it is to meet a Buddha. Otherwise, for example, imagine this. If just dedicating to the Buddha is going to give the same results as giving to a living Buddha, while the Buddha was alive in Savatthi, couldn't other devotees make offerings to the Buddha at their home? Yes, they could do that. They could dedicate it to the Buddha. That's what we are doing at the moment. But are they getting the same merit like while there's someone who is really feeding the Buddha? Isn't there's a difference? For example, if you're offering a monk, if you're giving a meal to the monk, can my parents or someone or any devotees offer to me at their house and say, Bante, I offered you the meal? What did I get? I didn't eat anything. I'm still hungry. If I had not get my meal, I'm still in hunger. So there has to be some sort of difference here. Isn't that a merit? Yes, it is a merit because he has dedicated it for me. He has dedicated it. Because Sammanakana, is there such merit? If you can offer a candle to the Buddha, if you are offering a lamp to the Buddha, and if it is a merit, offering rice even though he is not getting any use of it, that has to be a merit. There's no argument in it, in terms of the fundamentals of Theravada. But there's a slight difference here. That's what I want to emphasize. So this shows that having a true relic is a greater opportunity to accumulate great merits. Having a real Bodhi tree connected to the great Bodhi tree is a great merit. That's why it's important. Sometimes we visit India and we visit the great Bodhi tree and visit that particular place and pay respect. Then we are getting a higher merit, even though we are able to do the same thing staying far away. Yes, we are getting a merit, but there's a difference in it. So that's the important point that I want to emphasize on this. So the thing is, what is there matters. It's not only Chetana. Then someone can argue, isn't it that Chetanaham Bhikkave Kamma Madami Chetana what matters? Yes, Chetana is the Kamma. There's no argument in that. But there is a contribution from the object whom we are paying respect, whom we are offering to. Otherwise, for example, imagine this scenario. Someone wants to kill his mother. The Chetana, the intention is killing the mother. And he goes to her room. And someone is lying down on the bed covering the entire body. And thinking she's the mother, believing she's the mother, he stabs. And it happened to be a strange woman who had just visited, and for some mother's friend who had visited and slept on the bed. My intention was to kill the mother. I didn't know. I just killed, I stabbed and went. I didn't know. Then I suddenly see that my mother is still walking in the home. Then that's the time I realize, oh, I have killed someone else. If Chetana, it's only the Chetana is contributing to the demerit, the person must have accumulated. He has done the matricide, or he's a matricide. It cannot be, because the mother is still alive. How can you commit matricide without killing the mother, by killing someone else? So it shows that it's very clear. I'll repeat it again. The person thinks I'm killing the mother, he has no clue it was a different woman, and he kills, and he He doesn't know, even after that he doesn't know. While he is walking, after few hours, maybe a few minutes, few hours, he sees the mother is still alive. Then that's the time he realizes, oh, I have killed someone else. So has he committed matricide? Obviously not. Obviously not. If only Chetana is the factor, someone is offering, okay, imagine he is offering a meal. He has not seen the Buddha, for example. He has not seen the Buddha. He believes, he thinks when he sees some ascetic, some other ascetic, he's a non-Buddhist ascetic approaching him, and he has heard the rumors about the Buddha. He feels, oh, this is the Buddha, and thinking it's the Gautama Buddha, Samma Sambuddha, and so forth. And he offers it to the person. He offers the meal to the person. Is he getting the merits of offering a Samma Sambuddha? This is a completely different person. And later on he knows, no, this is not the Buddha. Buddha is someone else. So has he accumulated the merits of offering to a Buddha by offering to someone else? No, obviously not. So what matters is, other than the Chetana, Chetana decides whether it's a good or a bad action. Chetana decides whether the action was a karma or not. I was rubbing this place with my hand and accidentally I happened to crush an animal or crush an ant. But my intention was just to rub this or to clear this place. I didn't have any intention of killing. So Buddha would say, Chetanaham bhikkhave kamma vadami. You didn't have a Chetana of killing, so you have not accumulated a karma of killing. So Chetanaham bhikkhave kamma vadami is to decide whether you have done a karma or not. What sort of karma you have done or not. Whether it was a killing or something else, or whether it was a merit or a demerit, whether he has committed the merit or a demerit. So in order to decide that, to decide the strength of the act, it's not only the Chetana. Chetana, the greater the Chetana, the greater the act is. Yes, obviously. But there is a contribution from the object itself to whom this act was done. So here, the living Buddha, the relics, the Paribhogika, what he thinks he used, and as Uddesika are four different objects. In between, we can bring another object here. What is that? The Buddha's entire body after his parinibbana, before the cremation. It was there. There was a very special occasion where we had the Buddha's body without his jnanas, without his consciousness. So what's the difference? Here he possessed. While you are paying respect to the real Buddha, you are not only paying respect to the Rupa, you are paying respect to the jnana as well. His wisdom, his enlightenment, his mind free from defilements. All are there. The omniscience. But while he has passed away, after he has passed away, all that mental qualities are missing. It's just a physical figure. But it's greater than the relics, because all the marks of a great male was present there. So that's why the Buddhists of that era, the kings of that era, gathered with the blessings of the monks, did a ceremony for 7 days, sadhu kila puja. They did a 7-day puja to the Buddha's dead body. They did it for 7 days. They paid respect to the Buddha's body, and they paid all the tributes to the Buddha's body before the cremation. So my personal opinion is, if someone is paying respect to the Buddha's body before its cremation, he is getting more merits than paying respect to the relics, which are just particles from his body. But still, all 5 are in the category of Buddha Puja. What I am suggesting is, there is a slight difference in the hierarchy of the merit as well. If not, a Bodhisattva would be able to accomplish his abhinihara doing a sacrifice to the Mahacheti. If not, we will be able to gain the same merits of offering to a Buddha who has just emerged from the Nirodha Samapatti, even if we do it at our home. And those 2 examples says otherwise. Seems not. And it's obviously not. Fundamentals are very clear. The practicality is very clear. So then, isn't what we are paying respect to the Buddha statues are not equal to paying to the... Yes, it's not. That's why the ones, that's why it is important to meet a Buddha. That's why we are wishing to go and meet a Buddha, and we are wishing the opportunity to give dana to him. That's why in a past Buddha Sasana, when the king Banduma was like occupying the Buddha and saying, I'm old and till I die, I'm the only one who should be giving dana to the Buddha, and the citizens rebelled, and they wanted to share the merits, and they also wanted to participate in dana, and the first dana was given to some one person, a rich person, a general or someone. It should be either Vipassi Buddha or Paduputra Buddha, one of them. So anyway, and he said, no one is going to offer. It's my dana. I'm going to offer to the Buddha. So no one was allowed to offer. He wanted the Buddha to have his meal. Somehow a girl came, deceived the guards and offered, and he didn't have the opportunity to offer to the Buddha. Anyway, then he didn't get angry, and he brought the child into a house and made one of his relatives. I think he made his son to marry her or something. So it shows that if you are getting the opportunity to offer to the real Buddha, it's a different level of merit. It's a different level of merit. And this shows the importance of doing the pilgrimage, visiting those places, and paying respect to them time to time, because then you are getting much greater merits. Especially when it comes to the Paribhogika Chetiyas and Saririka Chetiyas. While they are not there, yes, we should take the Uddesika Chetiyas. We are not downgrading it. We are just keeping its real position. That's why it's mentioned in Vinaya. If the Paribhogika Chetya is disturbing a Uddesika Chetya, we are not supposed to cut the Paribhogika Chetya. But if the Paribhogika Chetya is disturbing a Saririka Chetya, yes, we have to cut this Paribhogika Chetya and protect the Saririka Chetya. The hierarchy is very clear. I'm talking about the hierarchy of merits as well. That's the point here. So therefore, so this lecture was to highlight on this issue, and I hope some of you got insights, and some may have some questions, might have some questions. So I invite you to clarify them if you have. And so I would end the lecture. Next day I'm going to take the lessons from the Dhammavinicchaya book, starting from the question number 11, and we'll proceed further. So that would be the lecture for this day. I open the forum, giving the opportunity to ask questions. Yes, please.
So there are some questions.
Yes, you can read it out. Yes.
So, are the details regarding Parinibbana of the sacred release of Buddha mentioned in the Tripitaka, and could you please explain how Parinibbana of these sacred relics occurred?
Parinibbana of the sacred relics, is it what you mean? Dhatu Parinibbana. The relics Parinibbana is not mentioned in the Tipitaka itself. It's not mentioned in the Tipitaka itself. I think it's mentioned in the commentaries. I have read it in Pujavali actually, a book written in Anuradhapura, era of Anuradhapura, and I think it's mentioned in the commentaries how it happens. According to what I have read from Pujavali, all the relics in the world, they will not get destroyed till that last moment. They all get burnt out at the same time, and so they will all gather at one place, and finally, I think in Sri Lanka also it may gather, or I actually forgot it. So finally they will visit the Bodh Gaya, where the Buddha got enlightened, and it will make a Buddha's figure will be made out of the relics, and it will perform the twin miracles over there, and finally it will get burnt, and that's the end of the Buddha Sasana of the Gautama Sammasambuddha. And the book says that humans will not be seeing that at that time, only the deities will be experiencing it. So after that, suddenly it seems like for the humans it seems like the relics get disappeared suddenly after that moment. So we believe, the tradition believes it would happen after 5,000 years from the Buddha's Parinibbana. That means in another 2432 years, seems like, because we are in the 2568th year. So in another 2437 and months, few months. So this incident is supposed to happen if the information given in the literature is accurate. But nothing is mentioned in the Tipitaka as far as I know. I can be sure about that. But the information of the Bhatu Paranibbana is found in Pujavaliya, a Sinhalese book written in Anuradhapura era. I think it is mentioned. I cannot recall that I have read it in the commentaries yet. So it must be in the commentaries. That's why they would not be able to get such detailed information from nowhere.
And there's another one. So some people pay homage to the Buddha tree, seeking relief from misfortunes and success in examinations or freedom from various difficulties in life. Could you kindly explain the true and the noble purpose of which the Buddha himself encouraged the veneration of the Bodhi tree?
According to the commentaries, Bodhi tree was planted while the Buddha was alive, and that happened in Savatthi in the Jetavana and which was organized by Venerable Ananda, and Mahamoggallana was the one who brought the Bodhi seed. Actually, it was the fruit he brought, and it was planted. So, paying respect to the Bodhi tree, and also we find in many stories of the Arahants in their past life, they have paid respect to the Bodhi tree in the past Buddha Sasana. So, this is not something that we can dismiss, saying that paying respect to the Bodhi tree was something that was new or originated later. I have seen some people dismissing it, saying that it's just paying respect to the tree, Buddha has not encouraged that and so forth, because there is a gatha saying paying respect to the mountains, trees, forest in search of refuge. Yes, you are not going to get it, and the real refuge is the Four Noble Truths, the Triple Gem and the Four Noble Truths. But here it's something, the approach is quite different. We are paying respect to something the Buddha has associated, Buddha has used. So now, for example, if there's something common, like for example, now we pay respect to the Buddha, and if he had given something from his body, for example, if he has given some hair to us personally, how would we feel? Are we going to throw it away, saying that this is rubbish, or this is a part of his body and this is repulsive, and we are not supposed to pay respect to this, we are supposed to contemplate this as repulsive? We are not going to do that. We are going to keep it. We feel privileged of receiving such hair relics from him, and we even do it for our seniors, sometimes for our kings, past kings, sometimes for the leaders. If you are getting something from a person whom we respect, so even from our parents, sometimes things that we receive from our parents, we treasure it. We keep it with high veneration, with high respect. We protect it. The purpose is, it's specifically not about the thing, but it's about the person. But because of the person, the thing has become respectable. That's the point here. Thing has become respectable. So normally we don't, if the Buddha was, okay, if Buddha was alive, he had a bed in his room. Are we going to, do you dare to go and sit on it? Obviously not. That's not the way it is. We will surely feel very bad if someone does so. So because we want to, it's not only about the person, it's not only about practicing. There is a way of paying respect to the person whom we admire, whom we respect, or especially under someone whom we go under whom we go refuge. So therefore, Bodhi tree, and the same thing now. Now think about the robe. Now how Mahakassapa would have felt wearing the Buddha's robe, the robe he wore. So it would have been a very. Would we be able to hold it if we had received it? I am pretty much sure Mahakassapa would have used it till his Parinibbana. I assume, because if you get the robe from the Buddha, no one is there to throw it away. I think he would have used it, even though it may have got torn many times. I assume he would have used that. right? So that's the respect that he would have shown. Then someone can say there's attachment, and no, these are not attachment. These are the respect that we have. If there was no, if it was attachment, why did Mahakassapa visit the Buddha after he had passed away? He knew he's going to pass away. He knew he has passed away actually. He knew he has passed away. And he visited him. He visited and he paid tribute to the Buddha. Why all the great monks visited his tree and his body and paid? And why do Arahant visit Buddha shrines, pagodas and pay respect? And it has happened in Sri Lanka. So his body parts, things that he has used, all become respectable items. The same thing happens with the Bodhi tree. That is the place he got enlightened. So we obviously feel gratitude, sort of a gratitude to the place that our religious leader got enlightened. So that's why we visit such places. And we have, Buddha himself has said, visit such places and have some Sangmega for that, on that places. And one time while he was traveling in a certain area, he came to a certain place and there was a farmer nearby in a paddy field, and he asked Venerable, this story is found in Dhammapada commentary, and he asked Venerable Ananda to call that person, and he came. And what he did was, without paying respect to the Buddha, he paid respect to a small pagoda which was on that place, some kind of a chaitya. Then Buddha asked, do you know where did you pay respect to? To whom did you pay respect? And he said, no, I don't know, because this is a pagoda that has been, that was there from, starting from our ancestry. So our parents, my parents have taught this is a very respected place. So I am paying respect to that. Buddha said, according to the commentaries, even without knowing, you have paid respect to a place which deserves veneration. Because that was the place, according to the commentaries, where the Kassapa Buddha's pagoda with all the relics, because his all relics became a one ball, or became one, like they were gathered at one place. They were not scattered like our Buddha, of our Buddha. So then this is a place, this was the place where Kassapa Buddha's great pagoda was established. So he said this is a place where which deserves veneration. So therefore, the places one has associated, lived in, the place one got enlightened, the things that he has used, the tree under which he got enlightened, the Vajrasana, the seat on which he sat, all these deserve veneration. So that's the most important point here. Then the next question which arises is, so paying respect to such objects is something that is accepted in our tradition. Then the next question which comes is, now instead of paying respect to such objects, referring to the Buddha, we are asking for some protection from that. We are asking some supernatural protection from these objects related to the Buddha. Now, imagine this. I'll start from the topmost place. Now, what do we think? Are we ready to go and get a blessing from the Buddha himself if he was alive? If he had given us some blessings, would we appreciate it? The best example is what happened to Suppavasa. She was struggling to give birth to Sivali because it was a prolonged pregnancy, and she thought she would die, and she sent a message saying, pay respect to the Buddha, Dhamma and Buddha, and say that I am always thinking about Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. And she was a noble being by then. So when this was informed by her husband to the Buddha, Buddha said, oh, Suppavasa Koliya Dita, Sukinis, Sukitam Puttang Vijayato, something like that, something similar to that. So may Suppavasa be blissful, and may she give birth to a healthy child. And with his utterance, with his blessings, she gave birth to the child. There are a few opinions on this. One opinion is, in the commentaries, she was supposed to suffer for another period. Even the Buddha had given the blessings before that. That is not going to affect her. She would have still suffered that period. But she was going to suffer for some time, maybe for a few hours. by the Buddha's blessings, it was shortened. So Buddha's blessing helped her to recover. And it's possible. There are other opinions as well in the commentaries, but this is one opinion. And we know by the power of determination, power of truth, things do happen. And that's what we do in Paritta. By this, the power of this truth, may this happen and may he be protected and so forth. Etena satcha vajjena sottite hotu sabda. May good happens to you. So if it was the Buddha, he would have, there is way of, he could have still protected. He should, protected means he should have given some protection to us. Possibility is there. He will not be able to completely protect us. Because he was unharmed by Nalagiri. And he protected the Dighayu, the child who was 7 years old and who was supposed to die in 7 days. And he made the Sangha to do parittas, and he himself went on that day, and he protected him from the demon who was going to eat him, kill the child. And he lived for 120 years. So such protections can be made by the Buddha. Protections can be made by the Sangha. Such protections can be made by the power of the truth and power of the Dhamma, power of the parittas and so forth. And then now we come to the relics part. Have the relics shown some miracles? Have they shown some strange things? Yes, according to the history, according to the chronicles, it has happened. And we still believe that, some believe, it's a common belief in among many Buddhists, that if the tooth relic was moved from one place to another, the rain would fall. And I think it happened, this time it happened outside Kandy, it says. I don't know the exact story. So normally it says the rain would fall. If there is a drought, what they do is normally take the tooth relic and start chanting, and they have witnessed that many rains have fallen. So these things, these special objects have that power. It's not the power of the object, because it was related to the Buddha himself. So those are very special things. So the Buddha himself, with his spiritual qualities, could have given the blessings to us. He will not be able to prevent all the adversities of the world. That's obvious. That's why he said the world is a suffering. But some kind of protection, that's what we are also seeking sometimes. And we believe that sometimes Dhamma will protect us. And this was done, the customary was done in a Jataka story. When the Bodhisattva was traveling to a certain kingdom, he was given paritta thread by a Pacceka Buddha. Pacceka Buddha gave him paritta thread, and it protected him from the female demon who was following him. And eventually she killed the other people who got deceived by her. She was coming with a very beautiful, attractive body, and Bodhisattva was able to maintain his composure and restraint. And for that, he for the protection, the Pacceka Buddha had given him some paritta thread. He encircled him with his place with paritta thread, and that would have, and the female demon couldn't come. So these things, some would say these mysterious protections and so forth are found related to things that are things of the spiritually developed beings. The same thing applies to the Bodhi tree. This Bodhi tree is not something ordinary according to our belief. These are the Bodhi tree under which the Buddha got enlightened. And the tradition says it arose on the same day the Bodhisattva was born. And it says that this is a Bodhi tree, and that location is the only place where all the Buddhas would get enlightened. And they are always sitting towards, looking at the eastern direction. So these are Dhammatas. And that Bodhi tree, according to the literature, some may not accept that, but according to the literature, if I fix to the literature, was protecting, means like when the Mara was attacking or disturbing the Bodhisattva, says that the Bodhi tree gave him protection. It's not the Bodhi tree that he was protected by his paramis, but also Bodhi tree was not affected by the Mara. So it has some kind of a power in it, it says. So it's not something normal in that regard. So therefore, we have a belief that anything that springs out from this Bodhi tree, comes forth from the saplings or the fruit, so something that is related to that Bodhi tree has some meritorious, has some mysterious power. So that's why the culture of Bodhi Puja has emerged. We are paying respect to the Bodhi tree, referring to the Buddha. At the same time, there is a custom where people are asking for protection from the Bodhi tree. So in the same way as we are asking protection from Paritta and so forth, it's not 100% similar to that, but that merit, that's supernatural things attributed to these things related to the Buddha. Buddha is a very special person. He himself is a special person. He cannot be harmed he cannot be killed in his last life. He is the spiritually most developed being we can ever find. So he could perform the miracles and so forth. So any things related to him are also having this strange phenomenon. So that's why even the ancient Theras and also erudite scholars such as Redukana Chandamala Mahathera has said that if you want to get a protection from the Bodhi tree, this is how you should do it. That he has written a book called Bodhi Puja itself, mentioning how to do a Bodhi Puja correctly. So normally the protection is taken for, normally that we do for the, there's a custom, and most of the people say it can be witnessed that the relic, the tooth relic and the rain has a great relationship. In the same way, so sometimes people pay respect to Bodhi tree in search of rain, in search of protection from the diseases. I'm not sure whether the Bodhi tree, paying respect to Bodhi tree or such thing can help us to pass an examination or something. That's a different case. But because someone has to study, because even though you have paid respect to the Bodhi tree, the wisdom will, the information would not come to the mind. But sometimes you can have some kind of a spiritual effect on the mind and the body. So whatever the person has studied, he would not be, there's kind of a mysterious protection to the mind and the body, so he'll be able to write the exam with a clear mind. That's a different thing. But that respect is not going to give him all the knowledge if he had not studied. That's very obvious. There's no doubt in that. So sometimes protection from the diseases, protection from the diseases to the crops, and sometimes there's support in the weather conditions. These things, the tradition believes, can be achieved by through paying respect to relics and also to the Bodhi tree. So that is the common belief, and that is how we justify this thing. And first I started with the explanation on paying respect to these objects as objects of veneration. That's one thing. And these objects as something which has mysterious power. These are two things. So Buddha is a person who deserves veneration, and also he had some strange powers. So his relics, things he associated, things he used, are also connected to this mysterious realm. So that's why these cultures have emerged. They are not just something that can be dismissed, saying that these are not the teaching, they are against the teachings and so forth.
Do you have another?
Yeah.
So there's another one, like throughout history and even today, the stupas have been constructed to enshrine books and orally, which is like Puspalapot,
manuscripts containing teachings of the Buddha, and among 3 types of Kshatriya, to which category do these stupas belong?
We have altogether 6 objects of veneration. First is the Saririka, the relics, then the Paribhogikas, anything that he has used, any object, any requisite, or the Bodhi tree and the seat that he sat before enlightenment, and it got disappeared, I heard. That's how it's mentioned. No one knows where the Vajrasana is. Then that is the Paribhogika. Then we have a special type of a stupa called the signs kept by the Buddha, Padalanchana. Padalanchana is neither Saririka. One can put it into Paribhogika, but it's not something, it's a sign that he has kept. That's what we go and pay respect in the Adam's Peak, Padalanchana Chetya. Then we have another Chetya called Thana Chetya. Thana Chetya are the places where the Buddha associated. Especially we have 4 places in our sasana. The place where he was born, which was recommended by the Buddha to visit actually. Buddha himself recommended. The place he was born, the place he got enlightened, place he gave the first Dhamma talk, and the place he attained the Parinibbana. And then in addition we add another 6 places where he spent, 7 places where he spent the 7 weeks after the enlightenment, including the place he got enlightened. So in addition we have 6 places. The place where he did the Animisa Lochana Puja, the place where he walked for 1 week, the place here where he contemplated the Dhamma, the Ratanagara, the place where he spent the 5th week Ajapala under the banyan tree of Ajapala, then the place where Muchalinda, near the Muchalinda lake, then the Rajayatana. So these are the 6 places. One can say Jetavanarama is another place. Wherever he visited, yes, wherever. But normally we have the places where he used to stay on significant occasions. In Sri Lanka we have 16 places. We believe in that. So that is another place of veneration. The places he visited. Saririka, the body parts, his body parts, the things that he used, or the Bodhi tree under which he got enlightened. The Lanchana, the signs of his footprint, and the places he lived or related to his life. Now, for example, the birthplace before his enlightenment, he was a Putujana by then, he was a Bodhisattva by then, but still it reserved the veneration. Still it reserves veneration. Because in his last life, he's a special being. Buddha, Bodhisattva, we don't differentiate. Personally, I don't differentiate. He deserves veneration even as a Bodhisattva. Because he's the person, because of him, and he possessed the Bhavanga Chitta that would become the basis for the Sabbhanyutta Jnana. So he deserves veneration in my opinion. And at his birth, he looked at every direction and he said, Aggo Hamase, I am the greatest person. And by then there was a Pacceka Buddha living. While the Bodhisattva appeared, this last Pacceka Buddha was there. The Matanga Pacceka Buddha. He attained Parinibbana after the Bodhisattva's birth. Deities came and informed him, and he also recalled thought about his lifespan. He attained Parinibbana. In some traditions, it is believed that Bodhisattva, he kept his robes in a hollow of a tree, and that was collected by a hunter, and he gave it to the Bodhisattva. They don't believe in the Gatikara story. So it was Matanga's, Pacceka Buddha's robes that he wore. Okay, to that extent. But still, he was alive. It's mentioned in our commentaries. He was alive when the Bodhisattva was born. But still he could say, Aggo Hamasmi Lokas. I am the greatest. While a Pacceka Buddha was alive. So Bodhisattva was a special character in his last life. So the places where he was born, the fourth place. Then the 5th one is the Uddesika Chetyas. Uddesika Chetyas, which contain none of these 4, but just signs, replicas, or things that would represent the Buddha. Then finally, the 6th one is Dhammachetya. Dhammachetya is the books, the Chetyas which contain books of Dhamma. Sometimes in ancient days, they used to build stupas and enshrine Dhamma books in it, because they represent the Pariyatti Dhamma, or the teachings of the Buddha. So they do they deserve veneration. So normally sometimes we pay respect to the Dhamma books as well. So, but we are still using it. We have to be very practical on this. But it deserves, one can keep it as a symbol, symbolically, and pay respect to that. So that is the Dhamma books. So Dhamma Chetya, because there are 6 Chetyas. Regarding the Buddha, there are 5. Dhamma Chetya. Then the pagodas of Arahants and all of the great Theras who lived virtuously, who deserve veneration. It can include Anagami, Sakadagami, Sotapannas, and even Putujjanas who lived a virtuous life. But according to the Tuparaha, one who deserves Tupa is an Arahant. But it doesn't mean that you cannot build stupas for others as well. Yeah, you can, obviously you can do. And for parents you can do that. You can do that for parents even. So, this is these are the 6 types of stupas. If you include the Sangha one, then the number would increase. Related to the Buddha, there are 5, and there is one thing called Dhammachetya. The stupas enshrined with the books of Dhamma. So today's Dhamma sermon is devotedly sponsored by Mr. Miran Tarindu Munasinghe, residing in Malaysia. The primary purpose of this meritorious offering is to seek success in business endeavors and to share merits with these parents and all family members. So I wish all the success in business of Mr. Tarindu Munasinghe, Miran Tarindu Munasinghe, living in Thailand, Malaysia, and may all of your work and family matters be always successful, and may your parents and the family members live long, including yourself, and may you be able to attain the spiritual bliss and the final destination of Nibbana as soon as possible. May all divine beings who rejoice in merit partake in this offering. So may the deities enjoy all the merits done by Tarindu Munasinghe and also all of us. May this merit be dedicated to the Venerable Dhamma Preacher and all esteemed monks who upload and spread the Dhamma. We happily rejoice on your wishing blessings. Special merits are also dedicated to Mr. Vajira Ranasinghe, residing in Switzerland, for providing the Zoom app for this Dhamma sermon. And he has been providing this app for a long period, I heard. And all our sermons since I started have been were conducted on his Zoom platform. So yes, we especially dedicate this merit for him, and may he be successful in all his mundane and spiritual activities, and may he be able to achieve the correct Dhamma and liberation as soon as possible. And also this merit is dedicated to his beloved father, Mr. Vajira Ranasinghe's father, who passed away, and wherever he is, may he rejoice in his son's merits and enjoy bliss in samsara and finally attain the final liberation. May this merit be shared with everyone who has gathered today to listen to the Dhamma sermon, and also special merits should be given for organizing and managing these programs to Udyani Unantanna and Vishwa Unantanna for their dedication in spreading the Dhamma and organizing these events. May all of them be, and also to Mr. Nikesh and Mr. Prasad, who has been recording and producing these videos. May all of them be able to get more pure Dhamma and also be successful in their all mundane and spiritual activities, and finally attain the liberation as they wish. And finally, everyone who participated, I wish you all the best. And I hope you got some insights with this lecture, and may this be a supporting factor for your progress in the path and finally attain the liberation, especially success in this life, blissful destination in the following life, and finally attain the liberation as soon as possible. And also the Bhante who listened to the Dhamma talk may also be able to successfully fulfill his practice in this very life. So we shall share the merits with our deceased ones and also the deities. Idang vo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang vo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. ඉදං ඕ ඥාතිනං හෝතු සුඛිතා හොන්තු ඥාතයෝ ආකාසට්ඨා ච භුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්칸තු සම්බුද්ධ ශාසනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච භුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්칸තු සම්බුද්ධ දේශනං ආකාසට්ඨා ච භුම්මට්ඨා දේවානාගා මහිද්దికා පුඤ්ඤන්තං අනුමෝදිත්වා චිරං රක්칸තු සම්බුද්ධ ශාවකං චිරං රක්칸තු ත්වං සදා හිමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බාන පත්තියා හිමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බාන පත්තියා හිමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ හෝතු යාව නිබ්බාන පත්තියා ඉදම්මේ පුඤ්ඤ කම්මං ආසවක්ඛයා වහං හෝතු ඉදම්මේ පුඤ්ඤ කම්මං ආසවක්ඛයා වහං හෝතු ඉදම්මේ පුඤ්ඤ කම්මං ආසවක්ඛයා වහං හෝතු සබ්බ දුක්ඛා පමුඤ්චතු